How England can beat France in the 2022 World Cup quarter-final. Today we're going to go through all the key battles, the tactics, the analysis, and work out how England can beat France. I think there's a few things: stopping Kylian Mbappé, exploiting France's right-hand side, and switching the point of attack. Guys, if you're new around here, smash that subscribe button, but let's get this party started. Let's kick things off with a bit of formation chat. Should England play a back three? Of course, England have played a back three in the latter stages of competitions under Gareth Southgate, nullifying the opposition's threats and looking to break in behind. They did it very well against Germany in the 2020 European Championships. But for me, England need to not play a back five. They need to play a four-man defence to allow them to get another body into midfield to exploit France and exploit the system that they are playing. The big thing for France, obviously, during the tournament, they've been setting up in a bit of a 4-2-3-1 shape. But it looks a little bit like a 4-3-3 in possession. Antoine Griezmann spent a lot of his time in the side, playing in more of a midfield area than you'd say an attacking midfield area, drifting out to that right-hand side and getting on the ball. But he's quite fluid in what he does, drifts left, drifts right, drifts deep, picks up the ball in deep areas. He is someone that England can exploit when they have the ball. Play behind him, you'll unlock that French defence. Of course, the rest of the side, it's easy to say the key player for France is Kylian Mbappé. His threat is going to be massive for England. 2 goals and an assist against Poland. He was basically unplayable. So England need a plan to deal with Kylian Mbappé. I think from an overall tactical perspective, in possession, France moved their left fullback forward. Theo Hernandez plays an inverted fullback role. Whether Kylian Mbappé's wide or inside, he'll react differently, but he has a tendency to drive inside into that central area, which I really like. I think it's a trait of a really good modern-day fullback. So that attacking structure, you can see number 22 really high. Mbappé holds the side's height, and of course you've got a wide player in Ousmane Dembélé that is going to stay wide and going to cause a lot of problems in an offensive situation. So why should England revert back to the 4-2-3-1 that's done them so well in the tournament so far? Arguably, it's not a 4-2-3-1 in recent games. It's more of a 4-3-3 with Jordan Henderson coming into central midfield and joining Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. For me, this is the best England shape. This is getting the best out of the players that England have got. Front three, midfield three, back four. That is absolutely fantastic for me, and I think the shape that they've developed with the 2-8s being more attacking, more aggressive. Again, we saw Bellingham assist Jordan Henderson in the game versus Senegal, and we saw that kind of attacking flow with Kane dropping off the line. I think this is a way to get at France. So from a sort of analysis perspective, France do look very dodgy down the left-hand side. Jules Koundé has tackled 50% of the players that have dribbled at him so far. So basically, if you dribble at him, 1 in 2 times, you will beat him. And I feel like that's the first position where England need to look at attacking and utilising positional play, rotation, like we've seen through the tournament. I've absolutely loved England's left-hand triangle and right-hand triangle, but probably they're more the left-hand triangle with Luke Shaw, Phil Foden, and Jude Bellingham against Senegal. I thought was absolutely sensational. Their rotation in positions, one playing as sort of a left-back, one playing as a central midfielder, one playing as that attacking winger, is something England could really, really do against the French right-hand side, especially against Koundé, to isolate him with an attacker. So we pick up the play on 35 minutes versus Poland. Poland in attack on the left-hand side. They utilise a short throw, getting the man in possession. But instantly from this position, what I'm looking at from a tactical perspective, number one, Raphael Varane has been pulled out of centre-half. There's no midfielder that's come over to deal with that threat, which opens up a big bit of space in behind him. Koundé's in a defensive position. He's in a bit of a too-deep position for my liking. He's deeper than both his centre-half and the opposite side fullback as well. Poland works some nice passing, and as you can see, England could do this on the left-hand side with Shaw, Foden and Jude Bellingham to open up the play. Quick combination play, but the big thing with France's shape is you can pull it over to one side and exploit the other side of the pitch. This is something that we've seen time and time again at the World Cup so far. Teams attack down France's right-hand side, attacking Koundé, pulling over their midfield, opening up space at the back post. Of course, there's some really good combination play between the triangle. There's some good third man running. Watch how Dembélé switches off as well. Another thing that England need to exploit. It's not just attack Koundé, but it's attack the space behind Dembélé. A little bit of, combination play between them, and the Polish fullback drives at Koundé, takes him on and gets behind him. At this point, France are in all types of problems. They basically have a 3v2 on the back post. Raphael Varane is massively out of position, something that we mentioned previously at the start of the move. Koundé's been beaten in the dribble. Again, England have proficient dribblers on that side, whether it's Rashford or Phil Foden or Jack Grealish to take on Koundé in those 1v1 situations. The play progresses, and we can see another tactical angle of this. Kylian Mbappé, super high. This is something that he'll do in a sort of defensive position. He'll stay high. So not only does it leave Theo Hernandez basically with a 2v1 at the back stick, but there's space to pick out on the kind of the edge of the box. Tchouaméni's going to have to drop into a centre-back position to cover Raphael Varane, and Rabiot's in a very dodgy position as well. Opens up massive space for Poland to have a big chance on the edge of the box that's well saved. But we can see how much space he's got inside the penalty area. Those cutbacks after penetrating Koundé on the right wing is very, very important. Again, the ball breaks. There's another massive opportunity as well. But we can just see kind of, this is France's kind of defensive structure in a sense. The back four and the two defensive midfielders. We've got Rabiot and Tchouaméni here, and the back four there. Where are the wingers? Where's Mbappé? Where is Dembele? Where is Antoine Griezmann? England could really overload France's backline. They could easily get 6v6. The front five, consisting of the two wingers, the two number 8s, and the number 9, Harry Kane, plus a fullback or another midfielder. You know, you've overloaded the backline, or you've equalled the numbers on the backline for France, and this is how England exploit it. Target that Koundé side with the dribble, and England can really sort of push forward. I think the next discussion may be more about the kind of the back three. Obviously, England haven't played it yet in the tournament. It's expected that Southgate may switch to the back three. Obviously, with the Mbappé situation, we'll talk about that in a second, how to kind of catch Kylian Mbappé out in a net. You know, suffocate him, then counter-attack. But I think the big thing here we're going to look at first is the sort of positional play that you can use against France to open them up. We spoke about targeting Koundé in a dribbling situation. Now, I think the next thing England need to do is have patience when building up out of the back, and potentially switching to a kind of 3-2 build-up if they're starting with a 4-3-3, maybe a fullback moving inside and building with a 3. You could think Kyle Walker as a right centre-back, and then the two centre-backs, Kane and Maguire, and Luke Shaw in a central position. Obviously, from a sort of pressing position, you're drawing players out. At this time, obviously, Olivier Giroud had gone off. Thuram had come into the central striking position. But I think the big thing with France is you can kind of coax them out of position and open up passing lanes. We can see this with Rabiot, far too eager to jump forward in the France sort of system, jumping onto the Danish player that's in central midfield at that point, which opens up a massive space. But the big thing that I thought Denmark did very, very well against France is have their front five structure. You know, we spoke England's front five structure. Denmark's is basically their front three and their two wing backs. Again, this would work with the back three with England. This could be the same thing as well. Back three, Rice and Bellingham. Then you've got, you know, your sort of, you know, Shaw, Trippier, and then Foden, Kane, Saka, something that England could do. But as Rabiot's been pulled out, the space opens up for a simple pass in behind their midfield. Simply, you've played through with basically two passes. France are very, very open to this type of play. You progress the play out wide. You've now got a situation where you've got a wing back that someone needs to challenge, and then you're basically already loaded 4v4 with the rest of the defence. This works out, a nice underlap again, something that you can catch out with France, spreading the ball wide and then underlapping on the right-hand side. England could do this either in the 4-3-3 or in the 3-4-3. Either it's a wing-back or a winger receiving, and then either a central midfielder makes the underlap, or alternatively the attacking midfielder if England are playing with 3 at the back. Simple as you like. Simple football. Exploit the third man run, exploit the underlap, and you're in behind. You basically got a 4v3 inside France's penalty area. This is a big area where England could exploit. France are so beatable. It is ridiculous. Again, when you're attacking these types of positions, very important to utilise the cutback. You know, have players running in aggressive positions. Lewandowski clears out that central area. Varane's got to defend the near post. Cutback is absolutely on. Big, big chance. As we mentioned previously, Griezmann, Mbappé, Dembele aren't dropping back and defending. We can see Griezmann on the edge of the penalty area, not really contributing in that situation, which creates a massive chance for Denmark. They should score, and they should be getting themselves, into the knockout stages. I think with England, the back three works as well. I think that play we just had a look at there, exploiting Rabiot, drawing Rabiot out or drawing Tchouaméni out of the press, then utilising the man in behind, works with a back three, but also works with the other 4-3-3 system. The big question that we've got to answer is how to deal with Kylian Mbappé. Kylian Mbappé is in disgraceful form in the World Cup. 2 assists and 5 goals already. Unplayable against Poland. Unplayable, arguably, against Denmark. Unplayable against Australia. How do you deal with him? How do you stop him? And as much as Denmark did kind of get to around 60 minutes without Mbappé contributing in the game, the move was brilliant for this Mbappé goal. The underlap from Theo Hernandez, the combination play with Mbappé, great goal. But I thought Denmark overall dealt with Mbappé quite well. The kind of the triangle of Joachim Andersen, Christensen, Højbjerg managed him in a really good situation. They were super aggressive on Mbappé. They didn't give him a moment to turn and to play. And I think that's what England have got to do. Either going with the 4-3-3 shape that we've seen with Henderson, John Stones and Walker dealing with him, or going with a 3-man defence and having Walker, Trippier and Jude Bellingham dealing with him. My preference here is definitely the 4-3-3. I think the 4-3-3 gives England a lot more, and having England setting up with Walker, Henderson and Stones to deal with Mbappé, that is pace. All those players are aggressive, and I do think the big thing with Mbappé, Henderson, aggressive as you like. As soon as he picks up a booking, switch over Jude Bellingham to that side, have Henderson play as a left central midfielder. But Bellingham gets booked, rotate it again. Maybe Declan Rice goes out there, Henderson sits. This is the type of thing that England don't do enough. The housery needs to be there. So let's have a look at how to deal with Kylian Mbappé from a analysis perspective. In this situation, we've got Denmark with their back 5, 4-man midfield, obviously with their striker dropping off. Mbappé is a player that is very, very difficult to get a hold of. But I think the big thing is you've got to stop him turning and running at you. That is the key to stopping Mbappé. Be super tight with him, super aggressive. Because if you allow him time or space to run in behind you, to run at you, you've got problems. So I think one of the good things that Denmark did quite well is they allowed Mbappé to maybe receive in between their kind of triangle of defenders, and then as soon as he's receiving the ball, you're collapsing on him. And England could do that, as we mentioned, with either system. You know, if it's Henderson, Walker, Stones, same type of thing. Collapse on Mbappé, don't let him turn. Be super aggressive with him, force him. Because the big thing with France is you can really catch them out in the transition. You can really catch them out in the transition. And that's something that Denmark did in this moment. You know, they collapsed on Mbappé, won the ball back. Griezmann is the first defender that you're dealing with, which is an easy thing. Little 1-2, you're in behind their back line. And this is a situation that England could absolutely thrive in. Kane being the link man on the counter-attack after collapsing on Kylian Mbappé, breaking through, big chance on goal. Another situation where England could catch France out. Again, I think there's a lot of situations with this. But for me, going to go 4-3-3 is how I'd start England. Exactly the same team that faced Senegal. I don't think any of them put a foot wrong. In terms of Kyle Walker, he's faced Mbappé 3 times for Manchester City in the last few years. And he's won 3 out of his 4 tackles in those games in the Champions League. So, you know, he's well versed in playing against Kylian Mbappé. 100% of his tackles in the last time that they met. Played a really good defensive role for Manchester City. We could look at their sort of average positions. They're basically building with the back 3. You could see there you've got Diaz, Stones and Walker. And I think the Walker-Stones combination is big for dealing with Kylian Mbappé. They've done it before. They could do it again. So that's something that I'd like England to do. Walker Stones on the right-hand side of the defence. I think that is definitely there. And finally, the final little thing we're going to talk about today. How do you kill France? So you kill France by drawing them down their right-hand side. So drawing them down their right-hand side from a defensive perspective, and then smashing them on the left-hand side of the pitch. I can already see issues with this shape without even starting it. Like, there's humongous space on this left-hand side, which means that Rabiot has to play wider. There's big space between the 2 central midfielders. So you've already got problems. And this is Australia scoring a very good goal against them. They've already drawn them down the right-hand side. They had a throw-in down this side of the pitch. They've drawn them over, and the space is absolutely massive. And England have got players of, you know, Harry Maguire's ability to play that pass over the top. This could be Saka, this could be Trippier in a 3-man defence, but basically playing one of the wide players in over the top. We can already see that the positional problems right now with France. Mbappé is far too high from a defensive position. And Griezmann's too high as well. This opens up a massive opportunity to switch the play, get in behind France, and then play it back to the back stick to put the ball in the back of the net. And that is how England can beat France. Simple. Draw them down the right-hand side, switch it to the left-hand side, goals galore. It's one of these situations where France are very, very beatable. I really believe that. And I think there's a situation where England are good enough to win this. You know, when you're talking about penalty shootouts, if England get to the penalty shootout, 3-point plan in there. Number one, take the first penalty. 60% of teams that have taken the first penalty at the World Cup or European Championship have gone on to win the shootout. There's a 20% advantage going first. Number two, best penalty takers last. If you look at a graph of success rate in penalties over the shootout, the graph drops down. So play your best penalty takers at the end. So we're talking bring Trent on to go number one, Maddison on to go number two. Number three, we're looking at Marcus Rashford, potentially coming off the bench. 4, Callum Wilson. 5, Harry Kane. England win the shootout. Simple as that. Last little thing, bring on a goalkeeper in the last minute of the game. Not only for Housery to get into the French players' heads, but Nick Pope has saved 4 out of his 20 penalties in the last 3 seasons, which is better than any England goalkeeper. He is the best penalty-stopping goalkeeper. And if you want some Housery, Aaron Ramsdale. Big penalties this season against, the likes of Patrick Bamford. Housery there. Bruno Fernandes. Last season, Housery there. You want a Houser? Bring on Ramsdale. You want a shot stopper? Bring on Nick Pope. It's easy, guys. Get into the comments below. Your score prediction. I've been Statman. Subscribe if you do. See you later.